What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another edition of the Locks DFS NBA breakdown video. We're going to be breaking down this Monday, November 25th, 11-game NBA slate. Lots of good spots. Really tough DraftKings pricing once again for this slate. I know the last video I talked about, again, the tough pricing. And we've got some pretty tough pricing again on this slate. Lots of guys who have been priced up accordingly. Not a lot of value. There's a few spots that we can talk about, but before we get into it, I want to remind you guys, of course, to subscribe to our channel. That helps us out a lot. And also, if you comment on this video, you'll be entered to win a free season pass from locksdfs.com. We'd like to do that to give back to you guys who come back and watch these videos. We really appreciate you guys coming back, so thank you guys for doing that. And of course, check us out at locksdfs.com where you can get your NBA season pass for just $99. That includes the postseason. So pretty good value every single day. We're ranking our studs, our values, giving you guys our grades, our locks, and analysis on the players that that we're considering. So with that said, let's go ahead and dig into this slate. One of the chalkiest spots in the slate, I think, is going to end up being this Boston situation with Kemba out. I'm guessing it's right there, which is why I can't see it. But Brad Wanamaker, I think, is going to end up being one of the chalkiest players on the slate. We should see him get a tick up in minutes here. Probably going to end up getting the start here as well. As we've seen, already been productive with Kemba, pre the Kemba injury. Now, of course, with the Kemba injury, he's going to be playing a lot more and likely a lot more, potentially getting the start. We don't know the starting lineup yet, but I think it's very likely they'll just start Wanamaker at the 1. So 4.3K getting the starting point guard for the Celtics. It's pretty clearly a very solid play. We're going to have to make sure that the team is starting him. I still think he's a solid value play. If he's not starting, I don't want to say that he's not. But definitely I would be more open to going under the field on Wanamaker if he ends up being super chalky and if he's not starting. Other situations for them, like I think that Jason Tatum is also very cheap at 6.9K. He should see a tick up in usage. The price is great, but it's worth noting that the Sacramento team has played very, very slow this year. And a lot of people think of the Kings as fast. That's not the case this year, especially without De'Aaron Fox. They've really slowed it down a lot. So while I like Tatum, I'm not really likely to go over a ton on these Celtics guys just because the Kings are playing pretty slow. And I don't think that there's a ton of value in these guys, but I do think that seeing Tatum price down after Kemba goes out, definitely something that I want to target there. Another situation I think is going to be very chalky and just pretty obvious for cash games on DraftKings is Malcolm Brogdon at 6K. I'm not sure what happened with the pricing algorithm here, but clearly it just messed up on Brogdon's price. We saw a 7.6K before the back injury against Houston here. That was super tilting. I had a ton of Brogdon that day. Goes down with back injury in that game, hasn't played since, but now he's 6K for... I have no idea why. I expect him to get back to this 30 minutes a game, somewhere in this 31, 32, 33 range probably. We can expect him to return to a full role. He said he's 100% yesterday, went through full practice yesterday. No concerns about Brogdon being limited here in a game against Memphis, which is going to be a pretty solid pace up. Memphis playing the third fastest pace on this slate behind Milwaukee and Minnesota. So, yeah, I just think Brogdon is way too cheap. 1.27 fantasy points per minute with everyone healthy. 27% usage rate, 29.4% assist rate. Just plug him in your cash games. And then I'll probably have at least up to the field on Brogdon today at 6K. I just don't think there's a lot of ways for him to fail here. We're going to still see Kyrie Irving out again today, which we've seen Dinwiddie start at the 1. He's still a fine play at this price. Definitely someone that I think I'll probably be getting some exposure to. Again, with Dinwiddie, I just don't think there's a big route for him to fail at this price. So, and then Garrett Temple has been playing a lot too, but he doesn't shoot a whole lot. The guy I'm really interested in is going to be Taurean Prince. Like I said, pretty much every time that the Brooklyn Nets are on the slate when I'm talking in this video, if Prince is under 5.5K, I am pretty much always going to end up over the field on Prince because of the upside that he can give you. This is obviously not a great pace spot for for Brooklyn. Cleveland is not super fast, but they're not a very good rebounding team. They allow a lot of second chance points as well. Lots of points in the paint. So that should benefit Prince to some extent, who, his upside is really the fact that he can hit threes and he can get you a double-double if he grabs a lot of rebounds. So that's where you get his upside from. Obviously, the minutes are going to be relatively safe every time Prince plays. I have no concerns about that. He should be playing 30, 32 minutes. He's not getting a significant boost without LeVert or Kyrie from what I've seen so far. But it does give him the chance for shots to open up for him with those guys out, potentially. So Prince at this price tag, like him a lot. Definitely think he brings a good amount of upside there. And then let's just talk about the two games where I think that I want to have a decent amount of exposure to, and that is Portland and Chicago. So if we go over to Vegas tool real quick, you see this one here. We're going to talk about this game in a second. That is clearly the highest total on the slate between Minnesota and Atlanta, two top 10 teams in pace. But I think this game is being a little bit slept on. I mean, the total has come down 1.5, so maybe I'm just incorrect here. But Portland and Chicago both running top 10 in pace. I definitely think there's going to be a good amount of points scored here between these two teams. Lillard should come back and keep moving the pace up there. Like who I guess Lillard actually came back already for one game, but yeah, I mean he should that should definitely help this game as well. There's another situation where I think is just going to be very chalky, and that's just on Whiteside. At 6.1K, you're just getting a great floor. With great upside, especially assuming this game stays close, which is expected to. If Whiteside gets a full 4 allotments of minutes, you're going to be seeing him playing 30-plus for the most part in those situations. And Whiteside at 30-plus just gives you a really, really awesome floor at 6.1K. So if he's closing in this game, you obviously have higher upside because, sometimes, especially with this Portland team, if they'll actually go to their bench with like a few minutes left often. But if this game stays close, within a few minutes all the way down to the wire, Whiteside's going to stay in. Regardless, I think Whiteside's a cash play, and I'll have plenty of him in GPPs as well. Always tough for me to get to Lillard at 8.9K, but I'd rather get, if you do want some Portland exposure, I'd rather get to him than McCollum at this. This is the Sands Lillard price here for McCollum, and it's just not something that I'm gonna be able to pay really anywhere. And then lastly for the Blazers, this is a really good rebounding matchup. I forgot to mention that on Whiteside. Chicago is bottom 5 in rebounding in the league. So I think that they are going to have their way in the paint. And, one person that's going to benefit is going to be Carmelo Anthony, who's projecting pretty well, honestly, if you're giving him 30 minutes, which we've seen him play 29, 35 over the last 2 games. He was on that minutes limit in the first game. And then these last 2 games, he put up 15 shots in both of them. He didn't grab as many rebounds last game, but this is a really good rebounding spot for him against the Bulls, who don't get a lot of rebounds. I think that Melo has a chance to do a lot of damage here. Of course, like I said, I love the fact that I'm getting 15 shots out of a guy that's 5K. He's going to be playing 30, 31, 32 minutes, somewhere in there, and of course he played 34 last game, so upside for more there, of course. Or 35 last game. Really, really nice spot for Melo in my opinion, and I'll definitely be interested in him, trying to get him into some of my lineups. On the Chicago side, so Zach Lavine got priced up after his massive game where he just got red hot in the fourth quarter. Really, really nice game from him. And Kobe White was also a part of that, where he played like the last 12 minutes of the game because he got hot late in the game. That's pretty much how they run Kobe White, whereas like he's going to usually play like 26 minutes or something like that, or 24 minutes, honestly, over these last few games, unless he gets hot. So that's the tough thing with Kobe White, is that it's just a hot hand situation where they won't play him a whole lot if he's not hitting his shots. But because of that, if he is hitting his shots and he is going to end up getting 30 minutes, I think he has massive upside at this price. It's not like it's a super friendly price. We've seen him priced lower for much of the year. That said, I'd still think that in this matchup, he has some upside. He's going to be projected as one of my favorite Bulls, but also the top projecting Bull is clearly going to be Lauri Markkanen, just based on his last year rates. And, this year he's just not been the same. He's grabbing about the same amount of rebounds, but the shots have just not fallen for him. He had one game here where he hit 7 of 14 shots. They haven't fallen, and he's not taking as many shots. So it's really tough for me to get to him but at 5.5K, clearly, I mean, I don't have to tell you that he has a ton of upside here. If he does end up taking 15 shots, he hits 7 or 8, he's going to grab his rebounds. He's going to get you a few defensive stats. So he's going to crush this price in that situation. It's just a matter of him getting there. He's going to project great. I think he's a fine cash play, but I would probably be more interested in GPPs. But I'm not sure where the ownership is going to be on him in GPPs, so I might end up being under on him potentially. Chandler Hutchison is going to be back in this game as well. That gave Kobe White more minutes last game. I think it gave Kobe White more minutes. Again, it's just a situation with White where it's like if he's hitting shots, he's getting in. If he's not hitting shots, he's going to be out. So, I don't think that really relies on anyone else. But, I think that could potentially hurt White's minutes floor a bit because, some of those minutes are going to slide around. Shaq Harrison's still going to get a few minutes. Chandler Hutchison coming back could probably start again here. Or I guess Hutchison was back last game, was out of the rotation. So I guess we're kind of waiting to see what they're going to do with that. We don't really know. But them both being back could potentially eat into the minutes of Kobe White. Shaq being in part of the rotation. So Minnesota and Atlanta, last game. I feel like I've been going on for a while on this video. Let me make sure I got all the Chicago guys. Yeah. So this is the top game of the day in terms of both these teams are top. I think Atlanta's 11th in pace and Minnesota is like second in pace or third. No, they're third in pace. Let's go to the Minnesota side first. Where like most of the slate, not a lot of these guys are priced great. I think Karl-Anthony Towns is a fine play at 10K. Obviously, tons of upside there. I think he's a solid play, but this is the highest price we've paid for Towns in a while, so it's not like we're getting a great price on Towns. But I do think that he can still crush value, especially in this matchup against Atlanta, where they have pretty much no front court. I mean, I'm not too worried about him, beating up on Alex Len and Damian Jones or whoever they put down there. Andrew Wiggins is still priced up, but that said, he is shooting a ton. The issue is that his upside was really getting a lot more assists in those games where Teague was out. Of course, Wiggins can still do a decent amount of ball handling, but in general, not going to be expecting to get those assist numbers. He's averaging 3.5 on the year, but we saw it in these games here, him get a big bump up there. If you think he can do that, then he's a solid GPP play, and you probably want to be under the field or over the field. If you think he's going to be continue to handle the ball, I don't really expect that to continue, so I probably won't get a lot of him here. But in this matchup, he does make some sense. Robert Covington, situation here where finally he's starting to get the minutes consistently, where 30, 32, 31. I think he's actually probably my favorite projecting player on this Minnesota team. Because of those minutes, if we can give him 30 to 31, he's got a really, really nice floor and a decent upside as well. If he grabs a few extra rebounds, potentially can get into double range. I mean, obviously that's a high ceiling rebounding game, or a high that's like his ceiling rebounding game is getting a double, 10, 11 rebounds, but definitely potentially could happen, especially in this matchup against Atlanta, where again the front court is not scary at all. If Covington's getting the minutes, I think he's a solid cash play. I don't think Teague is too interesting to me, but all these guys, Keita Bates-Diop played a ton of minutes last game, but I think that it was. That was just with Covington out. So I'm hoping that Bates-Diop doesn't eat into Covington minutes based on one game, but I don't think he will. Jake Layman's still out. That also will continue to solidify Covington minutes there at the 4. For Atlanta, moving over to Atlanta, Trae Young, always going to be someone I'm going to get exposure to. He is very, very priced up. He could go over 10K after this game if he does his thing again. But, I'm going to get exposure, especially in a pace-up matchup. It's a really good spot for Trae. He's going to continue to take a lot of shots, but he's not someone I'm going to be looking to in cash on an 11-game slate. Jabari Parker. On Jabari, really, it's just a matter of he was playing big minutes here, and then as we've gotten further, a lot of these games he's gotten into foul trouble. As you can see, these 2 games he didn't. So, and he got 32 minutes, and this one he plays 21, but that's a blowout. So, I think in these close games, we're going to see Jabari actually play like 31 minutes, 32 minutes. And I think that you're getting a decent value there. The issue is that DeAndre Hunter, who in trickle-down effect will eat into his minutes, has been shooting a lot more. And they play on the court a lot as well. So, of course, Hunter is taking shots from Jabari. I think as the year goes on, or I guess as the Collins suspension goes on, more importantly, the ball's going to start to spread around a little bit among these young guys. Cam Reddish, Hunter we've already seen, Bembry starting again, he'll take some more shots. So I think the usage is going to continue to be less condensed, but Jabari still, I think, has upside here at this price because he's the second option on this team in a pace-up game. However, Hunter's recent usage bump definitely worries me. I'm curious to see how that plays out when they have a 3-game sample where Hunter's really shooting the ball a lot more. I guess he did a little bit more shooting in these games as well, but, consistent 12, 17, 17. He's got priced up, so I'm not interested in him. But Jabari, I think that he's still the second option on this team and can definitely get some upside, has some upside here. Other than that, no one on this Atlanta team really too interested in. Hunter's priced up, Bembry priced up. Bembry still has a little bit of upside, but man, I think that he's a little bit capped there. He's starting, so he definitely is a decent cash play, but not anyone I'm like super excited about playing. So, okay, with all that said, that will pretty much wrap up the video. There are, of course, other spots on this slate that I did not get to. Golden State, if Draymond's out again, they're going to have 8 guys, and I'm going to have plenty of interest there. But I won't get into it too much. I feel like I've been talking on this video so much already. Thank you guys all so much for watching. We appreciate you guys coming back here. Don't forget to comment on this video for a chance to win that free season pass from Locks DFS. And we will see you guys back here tomorrow. See you guys then. Peace.